get that death penalty back and put him in the electric chair and I'll pull the switch. That's when I'm sure they'll not be around.
He's my brother, and we fight for his release the same way that we fight for my mom and my father's release.
When the 9 MOVE members were convicted of third-degree murder and sentenced to 30 to 100 years apiece, several days after that, Judge Edwin Malmet was a guest on a local talk station. He was asked by a caller, who killed James Ram? Malmet's response was, I have absolutely no idea. I know what his response was. I know what the question was because I was that caller.
He was elected president of the Philadelphia chapter of the Association of Black Journalists at age 26 in November 1980. He was named by Philadelphia Magazine as one of its people to watch in 1981. He became known as the voice of the voiceless, and among those voiceless was the MOVE organization.
I met MOVE while covering them in Philadelphia. I became exposed to them as opposed to reading about them, and found out that what I read about them had no relationship to the kind of people they were and what they were about. That every published report was tinged with prejudice and hatred. MOVE members have been active and above ground in Philadelphia since 1973. They've been through every jail in Philadelphia. They've been beaten in every police district all over Philadelphia for standing up for their belief to defend life.
Yeah, I met Mumia back in 1979, and I was just coming around as a supporter, going to MOVE hearings that were going on then, pre-trial hearings of the August 8th murder trial. And one day, myself, a young white woman named Diane, and a young white man named Lenny had come to court in the afternoon for the afternoon session of, MOVE hearings. And the judge was late. I mean, this was a routine thing where he would say that court would reconvene at a certain time in the afternoon, and then it would be like an hour, hour and a half later that it would actually reconvene. So we went to the judge's office and confronted him about why he was always doing that, because they knew people set their lunch hours and stuff around that sometimes because a lot of people wanted to come. Well, he got mad, and when court reconvened, I ended up being held in contempt because Delbert really came at the judge after coming at a witness that was lying, really exposing, lies the cops were telling. So everybody in the courtroom, when Delbert finished, clapped. But the judge singled me out because I was one of the people and the only black person that had went up and confronted him in his office about being late. So he barred me from the courtroom, and I went back anyway and was saying, how can you bar the public from a public trial, and ended up getting arrested. Well, the next day when I came back down to court, Mumia was there, and he wanted to interview me about, my arrest and what had happened and everything. And I was just coming around, and I didn't really have a lot of information. I mean, I kind of knew what I thought, but when somebody sticks a mic in your face, it's like, well. But Mumia, he was cool. He was very patient, He was just asking questions and, getting me to talk and feel comfortable. And that's when the first time I really, had any interaction with Mumia. And after that, I started seeing him around a lot, and, we would talk and got to be, very close after that. But that was the first time I met him.
There was an incredible response by the city. I'm talking like 700 cops, a siege around the neighborhood, and it really continued day by day until it built up to August 8th, 1978, which is the case of a police assault on MOVE headquarters, maybe 500 policemen.
Jamal covered the MOVE story and attended the August 8th press conference, which Rizzo called to defend his brutal assault.
The press has to take a little to blame here. They've glorified a bunch of criminals, a new breed of journalism that doesn't want both sides.
Jamal became, in his own words, a widely known and among cops widely hated MOVE supporter who went to jails to get the Africa's side of the August 8th, 78 confrontation.
Met Mumia quite a few times, actually.
Yeah, how was that?
It was mostly at a time when I didn't really understand who he is. So I really couldn't grasp it all. I do know that I did know that he was very his energy was moving. And so when I did talk to him, what I did was he told me something. He said, I wrote this song called Stay on the Move, and I wrote it just to write it. Just writing. I used to write a lot. And he told me, and I let him hear it, and he told me, he said, when you finish writing that one, write another one. And then when you finish writing that one, write another one. And I never even thought about it, but that's what I did. So I just kept writing and kept writing and kept writing, and I never stopped. And so that's one of the things that I remember about him. I wrote a song called Just Because It's Legal Don't Make It Right. Mm-hmm. And he was one of the main people who influenced that, I wouldn't have wrote it otherwise.
You said you didn't have the ability to kind of know him for who he was back then. What do you know him as now?
Well, now it's a little bit different too. I mean, there was a phase where I knew him as, I didn't know him, and I just heard people saying Mumia often. Then there was the phase where he was a celebrity to me. And now it's more, he's part of the Move 9. He's another one that we just have to free. He's my brother. He's just like I see Chucky, I see him. He's part of my family. He's not just some guy on death row who we feel should be released because we don't believe in the death penalty. It's much more personal. Much more personal. And I don't see him up. I haven't seen him for years. And I wrote him a letter a little while ago. He wrote back, and I mean we a little bit like that, but it's not even so much. I think that as you understand people and as you grow and as you get smarter with things and more sensitive to situations, you begin to feel them a different way. You can't. It's not really something that you can even put into words. You can try. It's like you can use words to describe how bad fire will burn you. You can. I don't care how many words you use to describe it. You can use all kind of descriptive words. But when that fire actually hits you, those words can't explain the heat that you feel. Well, that's how it is with this stuff. It's like he's my brother, and we fight for his release the same way that we fight for my mom and my father's release. And that's just all there is to it. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him as like, I don't see him as like the celebrity like I used to. I see him more as a person who really needs help. He needs our help, and I believe that when he come home, he'll need even more help.
Why do you think he'll need more help when he comes home?
Because of the damage they'll be trying to do to him. Yeah. I mean, where could he eat?
Right.
Where can he go?
On the move, long live John.
Cause that tells me the system plotted the plan and set Mumia up to kill the innocent man. So free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Sabo is corrupt as hell and y'all know it. I ain't gotta say a word because he show it. During the trial you could have seen the train tracks, still was such a railroad. Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! On the move, long live John F.